You're listening to Bad Drivers Caught on Dashcam, your continuous source of epic driving fails paired with intriguing commentary. We also put out the occasional live stream talk show segment, like we are right now, where we talk about various driving-related topics and anything else related to the Dashcam community and the world of YouTube. I am your host, Napa, a nickname coined from back when our Dashcam channel was called Bad Drivers of Napa Valley. We put out 2 to 4 videos per month, not including the shorts we've been posting lately, and you don't want to miss them. You're listening to Bad Drivers Caught on Dashcam. Well, hey everybody. It's nice to finally be back doing these live streams again. So, how's everyone doing? I see we have a decent turnout. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm using some features for the first time, so hopefully this stuff's working. Make sure my volume is good. You guys can hear me okay? Okay, looks good. All right. So, it has been almost exactly a year since my last live stream. And I do apologize, the video on screen's a little pixelated. It's probably a bandwidth issue because the program's having to do a lot. And so it's apparently doesn't like everything I'm sending through it. So that's okay. I'll have a better setup next time. Anyway, yes, it's been exactly a year since I've done this. I feel kind of bad that I haven't checked in with you guys. You know, just been really busy working, you know, that sort of thing. So here we are. Thought I'd let you know what's been happening. So our channel. So it's kind of been the same story where, you know, views have slacked off compared to, you know, a couple years ago. The big compilation channels, you know, the car crash, the road rage, the instant karma compilations have stolen the spotlight away from channels like ours. And as a result of views slacking off, it's not just our channel, but any other, I call them mom and pop channels, have sort of fallen off. You know, you used to have, well, still do have Halo Mastermind. He doesn't seem to upload as often, but he is still uploading. But you know, like Bad Drivers of Southern California, there was what was she called? Bad Drivers of NorCal or something. Stephanie H. And then changed her channel name to something else, like Northern California Drivers, I think is what it was called. And just a whole bunch of others. Bad Drivers of the East Bay. There were quite a few other cammers in my area that pretty much stopped uploading. And we did lose a lot of channels. And these are channels that uploaded their own content. Or at least focused on their own content, their own captures. And views just fell off for everybody. So this isn't unique to just our channel, because everyone's kind of moved away from channels like ours toward the big car crash, road rage, instant karma compilations. And those are compilation channels that don't upload their own stuff. So they go around asking other dash cammers if they can use their videos. I see some of you guys sometimes will post a crash, and then the comment section is flooded with these compilation channels. Hey, mind if I use your content? Link in the description. You know, or yeah, link in the description and a little overlay. So they kind of like swarm these uploads like sharks looking for food. And they don't really put much into them. They just take them and mash them together and post them. Um, and then they make money off of it. Now, the difference with us is we don't ask or seek out submitted content. We let our viewers come to us. So if somebody requests that we upload something, then we do. I mean, it goes. There's a certain criteria that have to be met before we'll feature someone's clips. But somebody wants us to feature a clip, we definitely consider it. So we don't go to other people. Other people come to us, and so that's the difference. And then we further edit the clips into our own style. Yeah, sharks have more manners. That's definitely true. So we've seen a massive decline in views, and we're trying to figure out what to do about that, how to sustain this channel, because we do have to obviously monetize our videos in order to compensate for the time that it takes to put the videos together, because a lot of work does go into what we do. I mean, I do all the editing and and assembling the clips into compilations, and that is a lot of work. And I do have to take time away from my day job to do that, so I have to find a way to compensate compensate for the time that I take to do that. So with the views dropping and the revenue dropping, then becomes the question, well, how do we keep this channel going? Because I can't give up too much of my day job. So one thing that might help are the shorts. So you probably have noticed that we've been uploading shorts sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. And I hope that you guys don't find that too annoying. But the idea there is that shorts do reach out to a new audience. So it has helped bump up the new subscribers. So we're getting subscribers from other sources uh, from the shorts. So it seems to be working. So we just have to keep going with that. So another thing you may have noticed with the shorts is that it's not new content. We've got stuff dating back 10 years of bad driver clips. So I figure, hey, let's start there. Let's go back. Let's start with the early stuff and work forward with the shorts. And hopefully you guys don't mind seeing some of these old clips again. And at some point we'll catch up. And then the shorts that we'll post will be new stuff, but then we have to sort of grapple with, okay, we're going to post the content with shorts, and then you'll end up seeing the same stuff in the compilations again. So it's sort of like double content, duplicate content going on there. But I do hope that if you aren't wanting to see the shorts, that you'll just skip them, and that's okay. Because the idea is we are trying to get, um, you know, add to the audience from outside sources. So we're trying to break outside the echo chamber a bit and get some views from other. How does it work? It's the YouTube algorithm pushes shorts differently than long form videos. Yeah, just reading some of your comments here in the sidebar. Yeah, YouTube trying to compete with TikTok. That's true. I mean, TikTok found great success with the short form videos, and YouTube wants to see if they can capitalize on that same model, and it does seem to be working. Like I said, We've gone from stagnant to a positive, subscriber count, and that's growing. The more we post shorts, the more we seem to be bringing in new audience members, and that's what we wanna do. Wanna add more viewers. People who haven't discovered our content yet are now discovering it. Now, of course, with that, we get a lot more of the critical comments coming in, sort of like the early days before people really understood how the wide angle lens on the dash cam works. So kind of getting all these comments all over again. Oh, they had plenty of space. They had miles of space. They had plenty of room to pull out. And I'm glad that I did that comparison video a long time ago showing the wide angle lens on the dash cam compared to human vision, the human eye. The focal lengths are entirely different between the human eye and the dash cam lens. And so everything looks a lot further away in the dash cam view than with the human eye view. Let's see. I don't really watch them anymore. Can't save them to my watch later list. Shorts aren't really my thing. I prefer 10 minutes and totally get that. And we will continue posting our long form videos. Our posting shorts really isn't going to impact anything that we're already doing. So we're going to keep on doing what we've been doing. It's just a +1. We're adding something else. We're adding another form of content. And yeah, feel free to skip past the shorts. Really isn't a problem. Just reading your comments here in the sidebar. Wow, yeah, I can't quite keep up here. Doesn't matter how old the shorts are. Stupid is still stupid. That's right. The bad drivers have always been stupid. Just seems like we have more of them since the pandemic. That's a good way to put it. The shorts are adding to the viewer base, and that's the plan. So it's sort of like two separate audiences, like you said. You know, we have our regulars, our established viewers who are watching our long form content, and then the shorts, they're people who haven't discovered our content yet. Yeah, the internet is growing up with this stuff. That is for sure. Now, on that note of reckless driving incidents on the rise, our next two compilations are definitely going to be evidence of that. I mean, next video, I can't even stress this enough. Next video is going to be a doozy. It's going to be crazy. Probably the craziest video we've uploaded in a really long time. You guys are going to love it. In fact, thinking about posting a trailer for it because it's that exciting. And it may as well be called the, you know, people who can't handle a honk episode. And then I almost caused a crash in that video. It's the closest I've ever come to causing a crash in probably 20 years. No, maybe 15 years. Yeah, I haven't had a close call that close. You know, where it was my fault in probably about 15 years. And it really shook me up. And I mean, I'm just so thankful that I didn't hit the poor person that I freaked out. You know, and they honked. And I completely understand that. Yeah, I mean, the way people acted that you'll see in the next video, they would have probably flipped out over the honk. But if it's since it was my fault, I mean, there's no reason to get upset over being honked at when I was being honked at for a good reason. But your average narcissist would have flipped them off, chased them down, and all that crazy stuff, even though they almost caused a crash. I barely even noticed I was being honked at because I was just in such horror and shock that I almost did that. I almost actually thought of following the person just to apologize for scaring them. You know, if I could have talked to him, I obviously would have felt really bad about that, and sorry for freaking you out. That was really stupid of me. Yeah, one of our family members uh dealt with a stupid driver, and he honked at her, and she followed him, but she wasn't actually following him to rage or anything. She actually followed him into a parking lot to apologize, which is, quite humble. Wish more people were like that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, Occidental Towing. Yeah, I don't think I'm quite done with them yet. No, the next video does not have anything to do with Occidental Towing. I would encourage anyone who lives in Sonoma County. I don't know if I have any locals right now listening to this stream, but if there are any that live in the area, keep an eye out for Occidental Towing. And if you see them pull any more crap, report them. Okay, what else do we have here? People can't handle a honk. That's too many people that can't. What is your opinion of middle lane hogs? Okay, so I do have something to say about that. I disagree, actually, with the term middle lane hog, because the California Driver's Handbook actually recommends cruising in the middle lane. And the reason for that is, especially in areas where you have on and off ramps, so you have people merging onto the freeway. If you're cruising long distance, it doesn't really make sense to be in the very most right-hand lane. And I'm especially talking about freeways with more than 2 lanes in one direction. So if you have 3 or more lanes, it makes more sense to be 1 lane over from the rightmost lane so that you can leave room for people who are merging on, and you're not constantly having to change your speed. I was taught this in driving school. In driver's ed, we were taught cruise in the middle lane, and the California Driver's Handbook recommends the same. So I don't really think that there's a such thing as middle lane hogs, to be honest with you. If you want to go faster, just use the left lane. Go around in the left lane. Yeah, and I just, you see this on Reddit a lot. People, getting on people for cruising in the middle lane, but it's just a smoother lane to be in, where you're not having to constantly slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. and I just don't see how that really causes any problems. As long as you're not hogging the left lane, if you're not a genuine left lane hog, then I don't see a problem. I just don't see a problem. Okay, what else? A video a long time ago of someone who was recording himself going 200 miles per hour in your state. Is there any update on his channel that YouTube has taken down? So actually, YouTube didn't take it down. He took it down. I know that I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say about him. I need to check with the person who's been keeping me in the loop with this guy. Let's just say he is in a lot of trouble, but I don't know if I can say much more than that. His YouTube channel was Scott what was it? S Kitfield or something like that. And then he changed it to Jolly Green Scott, and he drove a white or a silver BMW, like a 2013 diesel BMW. And it turns out that he's also a flat earther, and he subscribes to bogus fringe conspiracy theories. So he's a nutcase. What can I say? Okay, what else do we have here? All right. Just because you call the people's out on their stupidity, you must be absolutely perfect yourself. The difference between a good driver and bad driver is a handling. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that think you should never criticize another bad driver if you've ever made a mistake before. Well, if that was the case, then judges could never work as judges because, hey, if a judge has ever done anything even remotely immoral or made any mistakes in their life, well, they can't become a judge, which, that's terrible reasoning. Okay, what else do we have? A flex lane does not do well. I'm guessing flex lane is similar to a carpool lane or what they call a diamond lane. That would be a carpool lane, commute lane. I'm guessing those are the same. That's pretty much the same concept. Okay, second to left lane. Yep, we're always busy with entering, exiting. What about the posted sign that says keep right except to pass? Well, it depends on state law. I mean, the laws on that vary from state to state. Now, I do know that there's a couple of states that do say that you are to keep all the way to the right unless you're passing or if you're going slower than the flow of traffic. So you have to check with your state law. I'm simply speaking about California. And the laws are very, no, I shouldn't say specific, that there's really no passing lane law in California. It's mostly slower traffic, keep right, which is different than keep right except to pass. Those are two different two different concepts. With usually underlain by two different types of law on that. So the law may be entirely different where you are. Keep right except to pass. Yeah, that could mean stay all the way right unless you're passing. Or it may just mean keep right of the very left lane. Yeah, it's hard to say without looking at the exact statute in your state. And of course, that concept doesn't work in a traffic jam. So, like driving through LA or the San Francisco Bay Area, where we have some of the worst traffic in the nation. We have like 6, 7 lane freeways, when it's bumper to bumper and it's stop and slow or stop and go. Well, same thing, stop and go, stop and slow. But, you're barely moving, maybe creeping along. At that point, keep right except to pass pretty much goes out the window, because now the goal is you need to be moving as much traffic as possible. You need to be moving the highest volume of traffic. So can't really keep right except to pass when you're when you're dealing with a traffic jam situation. So I don't see how that would be practical, during rush hour in big cities. However, it's rarely enforced. Has anybody used a crosswalk and over 10 people run a red light and will not let you cross the street? I haven't seen it quite that bad, but I've seen some more tame versions of that. Yeah, let's see. And people throw a fit at you for using the crosswalk. Oh, wow. I guess I've gotten behind in the sidebar comments here. Have to explain that, keep right, accept to pass. Maryland is only slower traffic, keep right. Yeah, so states' rights basically allows each state to have their own versions of certain traffic laws. And then there is the, oh, what are they called? The MUTCD, I think? Uniform Traffic Code, which isn't exactly a governing body, but what it is, guidelines for states to follow in their legislation of traffic laws, state to state. So basically lays out recommendations for how laws should be written, traffic laws. Yeah. All right. What else do we have here? So yeah, since the pandemic, we've just seen really crazy things. Now, not this next video coming up, but the one after that is gonna have some crazy clips in it. I can't say what the entire video is gonna be yet because we haven't gathered enough clips to determine what the second after the next video is gonna be like. But, really crazy stuff. Some hyper aggressive driving that I haven't seen probably since 2004. Since I was driving through the LA metro area, but pretty far east, like the Inland Empire or something. Just, oh, it was just crazy. A guy who just about hit me by trying to squeeze into too small of a space. And I don't think I've had anything so dramatic like that since that incident. And yeah, so you're going to see some crazy stuff coming up. So that's like almost 20 years, 19 years or so since I was doing the trek across the desert. I mean, I've done it since then, but that one time where the guy was just flying through traffic and was insistent on squeezing into a gap that wasn't big enough. And the only thing that saved him from getting pit maneuvered was my slamming on the brakes. Fortunately, I had a really small car back then, and I was able to stop or slow down much quicker than I would have in a heavier car. Oh, Bob and Marlene Lewis says, "Gotta go now, but can't wait for your next posting." So thank you for joining this, what you could of this live stream. Definitely keep an eye out for our next video. That's coming up Friday. When is that? I gotta look at a calendar. Friday the 25th. And I'm going to squeeze in as much editing as I can between now and then. I've got a lot going on. My wife and I are going to a concert on Sunday. And then I have a doctor's appointment in the middle of the week. My doctor is way out of town. So just for a yearly checkup. And then I have some more stuff going on. Oh, man. I'm also planting a lot of corn. That's going to keep me pretty busy. Yeah, a lot of it. I have to plow a fairly relatively large area, doing a late season planting. And I hope it's not like 100 degrees when I do that. There's nothing worse than, doing anything agriculture related when it's just blazing hot. So, have a lot of stuff to squeeze in between now and then. What else we have here? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, let's see. What is this comment? Speaking of you and your wife, how'd y'all meet again? Get married and keep the marriage going. You told us all about it in one of your live streams. Yeah. So, we met in college in 1999, and we were friends for like a year. Yeah, about a year. And then we started dating. And then we dated for 5 years. We dated before we moved in together. So then we moved in together, and then we waited 2 more years. Then we got married. We never had any kids. We just decided having kids wasn't our thing. She never really felt the motherly instinct, and I kind of went through a phase where I wanted to be a dad, and then I took care of my niece a little bit, and then I kind of realized after that, like, nah, maybe this isn't for me. Yeah, I don't think this is for me, because she happened to be going through that weird phase, that kids go through when they are in middle school, and it's like, no, no, no. No, I don't think I want to be a dad. I think I'm just gonna pass on that. And how do we keep the marriage going? Well, I think it helps that we were together a really long time before getting married. And so if you don't rush into getting married, you have a better chance of succeeding, because you kind of know, you have an idea whether it's going to work out or not. So if you're like together for 8 years like we were, then you have plenty of time to figure out if things aren't going to work. And then you're not rushing into a marriage that's just going to end up, falling apart. Although even then, sometimes people change, and they end up divorcing anyway. But I think it's a good test to be together for a while, and then to live together for a while. So you need to live together for a while before because that's another test. And we're both only children, so neither of us have siblings. And that was a little challenging. When you have two only children move in together, live together, it's hard. It's actually really hard, because you're not used to sharing things. You're not used to coexisting with somebody else in your personal space. So it was quite an adjustment to do that, to move in with somebody. And then how do we keep the marriage going? Well, we just so happen to have ways of talking things out if we do have disagreements on things, but we don't have a lot of disagreements because we think alike. So we don't really argue very much, and when we do, it's pretty tame stuff. I came from a very quiet family. We never had any drama growing up. I didn't have any drama growing up. My parents never, you know, never really argued much. So I think I learned from them, how to work out any differences you have calmly and rationally. And yeah, we've never even had a big fight in all the 20, how long have we been together now? 23 years. So that's how we stay married. The short answer. No, I was born in 1979. Oh, and yes, I did see your email with your video that you sent me. I think, yeah, that's the one. But I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I usually go through emails every Sunday. What else? What do you think your best compilation of 2023 is? Well, I don't think our last one was that exciting. Personally, I don't even know which one that was. That was number 52. Yeah, 51 was cool. 52 was kinda okay. But the next one's gonna be big. Not a longer than normal video, but just big with stupidity. So yes. So I was born in so I guess I'm 44 if I do the math, and I'm also in very good health. And what's my secret to good health? My doctor is actually very happy with me. He says that I'm his healthiest patient because I really do take care of myself. So the key to good health is this is what I do: eat right, limit my sodium. I definitely limit sugar. I don't eat a lot of sweet stuff. Try to eat a balanced diet, and I exercise every day, an hour, about a half hour of cardio, and I do a half hour of muscle toning. So that includes lifting weights, sit ups, push ups, planks. I don't have to do squats because I get enough of that sort of thing when I hike. I hike about once or twice a week, and hike in very steep places, so I get the stair stepping exercises just by hiking. And I do things to detox. So if I have a particularly difficult day with stupid drivers, then I play really nice, calming, relaxing music. My drive. And this might include going to the beach. Actually, I do. I go to the beach at least once or twice a month to detox. I bring my JBL flip speaker, got the sounds of the waves, and I play some very relaxing, calming music with me on my JBL flip. And that's what I do. And I'd say the hikes themselves, once or twice a week, is a good detox. Out in nature. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, sorry, I had to check my volume. I've never had this music playing feature, so I wasn't sure if it was overtaking my microphone or not. I can still hear myself. This is JBL, a WWE superstar. No, it's a brand of portable speaker. It's maybe 9 inches long. You can carry around with you. And it's whatever the latest one is, JBL 4, I think. It's got an excellent dynamic range. I highly recommend it. It's a great speaker. It's got little subwoofers on each end. Oh, it's cutting out a little bit here and there. Yeah, dinner jazz, coffee jazz. Oh, I love jazz. I love 80s music. I'm beginning to like 90s music a little bit more. It's just that it's a long story. So I was in high school in the 90s, and my first girlfriend, oh, kind of bittersweet there because she was my first, but it was also kind of a tumultuous relationship. And she took advantage of me, like financially, bled me dry. and she had very outdated values, in terms of, gender roles, and, you know, it, let's just say it bled me dry, but there were just a lot of, I don't know. Um, yeah, a lot of depression and some other issues that just ultimately made it impossible to have a relationship with her. And so that's what 90s music kind of brings me back to that, or it did anyway. And I didn't like 90s music because it just reminded me of those times. But now, my wife has tried to get me, back, back to listening to it again, and it's been a process, but I'm back to appreciating 90s music again. No, she wasn't punk or grunge. No. No. But I mean, we do have some interesting memories together. Uh like the time that we went to prom. I think it was our junior prom, and teenagers being teenagers, we wanted some alone time after the prom, so I drove us way out into the middle of nowhere on a dark, deserted, dead-end country road where I didn't think there was gonna be anybody. And yeah, we, got down to business in the car, and then we were semi-clothed, and then all of a sudden, tap, tap, tap on the glass. It scared the shit out of us. And it was a sheriff with one of it, those mag lights, those big heavy mag lights, and he was like rapping on the glass and scared the shit out of us, jumped 10 feet. And he says he didn't even have to ask, "What are you kids doing out here?" He didn't even have to ask. He could see, right? He could see. But fortunately that was like after the main act was over. And he could see, and he's like, "Yeah, you kids might want to get a motel room. Um it's not safe for you guys to be out here right now." And I'm like, "What? Why is that?" And he says, "There's animal poachers out here, and they've got guns, and they don't take kindly to people parking out here." So he was really nice sheriff. Didn't give us a hard time for doing what we were doing, but seemed more concerned about our safety. So we were going to be leaving anyway, so we left. So that was probably one of my more interesting memories of her. I mean, who hasn't back in the day? You know, back in the day, whose back seat doesn't have an interesting story to tell, right? So that was that. And then she ended up it's so weird. We broke up, and then she went with my best friend. And then that, of course, caused a riff in our friendship. He's my bestie. And then they ended up breaking up for the same reasons that we did, because it just wasn't going to work out. She was very difficult, very difficult. And then he and I, connected again. And so it wasn't as much of a riff as I thought it was. Yeah, I'm not even sure how I ended up down that rabbit hole of stories. Oh, yeah, music. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so 80s, 90s, jazz, of course. And I like all kinds of jazz. I mean, there's like a million different jazz genres out there. Latin jazz, which I also really like. Salsa. Yeah. Really, truly the only music I don't like is rap. That's about the only thing I don't like. Country is kind of hit and miss. Has to be the right thing. I like some of the old school country. you know. Ah. Hey, let's talk about Reddit Roadcam for a second. I don't know how many of you, you know, cruise Reddit Roadcam, post on Reddit Roadcam, or have any dealings with it at all. But have you noticed that it has gone downhill lately? And I'm mostly talking about the people that comment. I've kind of noticed that the idiots in cars subreddit has always been very toxic in terms of always blaming the camera, always the camera's fault. You weren't driving defensively. You should have seen that coming. You should have been psychic. You should have had your crystal ball. And it and now we're seeing it like a big influx of these commenters now on Reddit Roadcam. And I saw somebody comment about how it's all those morons from Reddit or idiots in cars are coming over to Roadcam and basically contaminating it. So, well, I believe it. Yeah, big YouTube channels. Yes, you're right. Like the big compilation channels, you'll see the same sort of BS. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can. No, I don't. I always tell them if you don't see a problem, then you are the bad driver here. And that is true. If you don't see the problem, then you are the bad driver. if the camera wasn't doing anything wrong and you think it was the camera, that's the problem, then you are the bad driver. That's on you. And that is definitely the truth. Yeah. Well, that's basically everything I had on my list of things to talk about. So let's get into a little bit of Q&A. Do you guys have any questions for me? I know it's a bit of a small turnout. Only about 15 of you watching, but maybe between the 15 of you, somebody will come up with some questions for me. So let's see. Ask me anything. Well, almost anything. Certain things I can't say. Do you prefer roundabouts over all-way stops? Actually, yes, I do. I think roundabouts are much better. I think roundabouts make sense in most, if not all places, though I will say that there are some instances where roundabouts aren't as good as an all-way stop. And I'll give you an example. There are some streets and roads that have such a continuous flow of traffic that anybody coming from the side street wouldn't be able to turn onto it if there was a roundabout, because you'd have just a continuous stream of traffic. You'll never be able to get in the roundabout. You'll be sitting at that yield sign forever because they'll just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. Now, where there are breaks of traffic in that stream, it would make sense to have a roundabout. And I think roundabouts in general do make more sense than all-way stops. Now, they save on gas. They, you don't have to brake as much, so they're good for, your brakes, not having to use them so much. And it's just better for traffic flow in general. So yes, I do prefer roundabouts generally speaking, over always stops, with the rare exception that I mentioned. In fairness, there are submitters that do cause situations. Yes, that's true. Yep, that's right, and I won't defend them. What's your ID and Social Security number? Yeah, sure. Social Security number 0000000000. There you go. What do you think about multi-lane roundabouts? Yep, I don't mind them, and they work. Once you learn how to use them, they're easy, and I just like roundabouts in general. Roundabouts, even over a traffic light, but I just don't know at some place. Yeah, some places traffic lights make more sense. In other places, I could see where a roundabout would be better than a signalized intersection, traditionally signalized intersection. They're not as popular, but they are taken off. They've become much more popular than they used to be, and I'm happy to see that. Now, the diverging diamond, on the other hand, oof, that looks a little intimidating. I've never seen one in person. Yeah. Who's Brick 50? Not heard of that one. I'm gonna have to search that one up. Brick 50. Oh. Is this another wannabe Where's 981? Man, that guy, oof. Yeah. Huh. Mother's maiden name, first pet. First street you lived on. Oh, this is another swimmer. Where's this guy located? All the content posted here are altered to mimic and resemble real life. Are there really people stupid enough to think that it's not real life? Okay, so this guy appears to be another Where's 981 wannabe. Yeah, he tries to pass it off as a render, as a video game render. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that the people that idolize those videos and watch them and praise them are young kids that think that life is a video game. Maybe not literally, but they treat it like one. That's crazy. Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket or a traffic violation? Never. Let's see. I got my license in 1996. 1996. That's when I got my license. I've been pulled over twice. And that was within the first 2 or 3 years of having my license. But I've never had a traffic citation of any kind in my entire driving history. I was contacted by a police officer while I was already pulled over to take a call. And this is back in the days where it had the big, clunky, very visible and conspicuous, camera on the dashboard. And I just happened to pull over in a school zone when kids were being let off for school, being dropped off, and I pulled over to take a phone call, and a parent didn't appreciate the camera, and they called the police. And a police officer pulls in behind me, and he gets out. It's a young guy, really young officer. I don't think he'd been on the force that long. Really friendly, very professional, and he said, "Hey, a parent called about the camera on your dashboard. Um, you know, I can't remember how exactly it went." And I told him, "Yeah, it's to capture bad drivers and, people doing illegal things." And he says, "Oh, okay." He says, "Okay. You're not doing anything illegal, so don't worry. You're not in any kind of trouble. It's just that a parent called and was concerned about the camera, and I'm required to follow up on it on the call." And I said, "I completely understand. You're just doing your job. And police officers get a call. It may be department policy that they have to follow up on every call. Some departments do require that their officers follow up on every single call." And so he did. He was just following department policy. I'm like, "I understand completely." And he says, "Do you have your ID on you?" And this is where some people might have a problem. There are some people that believe that you're not required to show your ID to an officer when they ask for it. Now, I can't speak to other states, but in California, if you're in a motor vehicle and an officer asks for ID, you have to show it to them. It's the law. If you're walking on the sidewalk, that's a totally different story. Unless they have probable cause, you don't have to give them your ID. But if you're operating a motor vehicle, you do, even if they don't suspect you of a crime. Anytime you're in a car, regardless of whether they have, probable cause, reasonable suspicion. I always get the two concepts confused, so pardon me if I'm using the wrong one, but it's either reasonable suspicion or probable cause is not needed for the requirement to give your license when an officer asks for it if you're in a vehicle. So I gave it to him. And he comes back. So he ran my background and he comes back. Well, first he asked, "Do you have any warrants?" I said, "No, I don't have any warrants. I've never been in trouble with the law." So, he wasn't going to find anything. So he goes to the cruiser, runs a background check like they're required to do. He comes back and he says, "Have you ever had a ticket before?" And I said, "No, I never have." And he said, "Wow. Oh my God. Never? Not one?" And I said, "No, I never have." And he said, "I'm amazed. You're like one of the only people I've ever ran a background check on, and they don't have anything on their record." And then he says to me, he says, "That's better than my record." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Oh, I've had tickets." The cop was telling me that he himself has had tickets. So he was kind of taken aback by the fact that I didn't have any tickets on my record at all. No tickets. Well, your record only goes back, I think, a certain ways. And so my entire driving existence, I don't have any tickets. So he was shocked by that. And anyway, he says, so are these videos that you recorded with the camera, is that kind of like what Bad Drivers of Napa Valley does?" And I didn't admit that I was one of the people behind the Bad Drivers of Napa Valley channel. I didn't admit that. But I said, "Yeah, kind of like that." He's like, "Oh, I love that channel." It's like, wow, he knows about the channel. Pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, but no moving violation. Okay. I did get a parking ticket one time, except it wasn't warranted. So a long time ago, I was called for jury duty, and I had a parking pass. And it's the kind of parking pass that you attached to the jury summons. You detach it, you put it on your dashboard, and you can park anywhere in the parking garages in downtown Napa. You can park in the permit-only zone. It's fine. As long as your parking pass is displayed on the dashboard. So I come back after, I don't know, sometime during my jury duty time, come back to the car, and I got a ticket, a parking ticket. And the meter maid didn't notice my parking pass right there, conspicuously displayed. So the next day, um, I the next day of jury duty at court, I approached the bench and I showed the judge who was presiding over the case my parking ticket, and he pretty much excused the parking ticket. And he was surprised that the meter maid ignored my parking pass and gave me the ticket. So he just scratched it off. A judge can just pretty much dismiss things for whatever they have power to dismiss. So he dismissed the parking ticket. He's like, "I'm sorry that happened to you, but I appreciate your service." So that was really my only ticket, was that parking ticket, which wasn't even deserved or warranted because of my jury duty parking pass. So that was pretty much it. My opinion on wildfires. I hate them. Of all places, Maui is not some place you would expect to have a devastating wildfire. It's usually the western states where it's dry, tends to be dry anyway. Whereas we're talking about the Hawaiian Islands where it's humid. It's usually very humid. It's tropical. So that was pretty surprising. Pretty surprising. And the wildfires are absolutely devastating. And our state has actually made some improvements to their wildfire response. So we've added new more firefighting aircraft, helicopters. We've improved our firefighting technology, our fire prevention technology. We have cameras now that operate off of artificial intelligence. They can detect the heat signature of a new hotspot of a newly formed fire, and they can tell right away what kind of resources they'll need to attack it. Their strategy is a lot more aggressive now. I'm only talking about California. I don't know what they're doing in other states, but California has undertaken a much more rigorous, aggressive, proactive approach to fires. So we feel more secure than we have in years past now. So we're feeling better about things. We started off this season far better than we have recent years. There have been very few in the way of large, devastating fires. Well, I don't even know if we've had any large scale devastating fires yet. At least not up here we haven't, not in this part of California. We've been really lucky so far. But being that we're, several months now into our dry season, the vegetation is continuing to dry out. So we are entering the height of fire season as we go into September and October. So we're not out of the woods, and we don't know what exactly to expect. We don't know if with this El Nino pattern that we're entering, whether we're going to have a wet fall. If we have a wet fall, we won't have to worry about wildfires up here in Northern California. Oh, the sovereign citizens. Yes. Can't stand them. They are basically scum. Oh, month in prison for standing up to bullies. They call that stalking and harassment. Interesting. Just reading your comments in the sidebar. Police and court versus. I have And I actually am amused by those videos. I actually like watching sovereign citizens get shut down. Now, I have a question for you guys. What do you guys think of First Amendment auditors? Now, I understand the sentiment behind them. I understand that we want to spread awareness and educate people when it comes to First Amendment rights. But in my personal opinion, I think most of the First Amendment auditor channels go too far. And I think they are the people behind them are usually obnoxious, and I can't stand most of them. And I just sadly found out that there is a First Amendment auditor in the Bay Area that was causing issues up in Napa last year. And he is just going about it the wrong way. I think a lot of First Amendment auditors are going about it the wrong way. A lot of them. That's not to say there aren't any good ones. Audit the audit. Ooh, no. You know what? I think I have to brush up on that a little bit on what that is. um, yeah. So First Amendment auditors basically will show up with a camera and recording. They'll usually go to. They'll usually either stand at the out just outside the property of a government property, like a I don't know a police station or I don't know anything that's owned by the government. They'll stand outside of there recording to get a reaction from whoever's watching the security cameras. Or they'll go inside a post office and stand around in the lobby just holding a camera, trying to get a reaction. I mean, that's in a nutshell what they do. But the way they go about it, the taunting of people, of the government workers, they're trying to get a reaction. I just think there's a better way to go about it. You have to just type in First Amendment auditors, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah. Watched one where the video downplayed a Pinell County sheriff pulled over someone. Yeah, and sometimes they will look for people being pulled over, and they'll go up and record the interaction. And I support the right to record, but I don't support the obnoxious attitudes and ways a lot of the First Amendment auditors are conducting their audits. Yeah. It's taking something to an extreme. Oh, seems like I was going to, speaking of YouTube channels, I was going to mention some that I recommend. Because I was thinking about it. If you guys are interested in self-defense, if you're interested in things like firearms safety, best practices for carrying, or, just general self-defense practices, I recommend a YouTube channel called Active Self-Protection. Just type in Active Self-Protection in the YouTube search bar, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, great videos. You learn a lot about, you know, about firearms practice, um, and just best practices in general when you're out in public. Minimizing your risk of becoming a victim. There's a lot of bad people out there, and you gotta be careful. Gotta maintain your situational awareness at all times. I've learned so much by watching his videos. Yeah. What channel about firearms? It's called Active Self-Protection. He doesn't just talk about firearms. He talks about other forms of other tools for self-defense, like pepper spray. He so what he does is he basically shows surveillance cameras, surveillance footage of people being attacked, and he breaks down what the people in the video could have done better to protect themselves. Maybe what they could have done better to prevent themselves from becoming victims in the first place. And once they do become a victim, what they can do to minimize their risk of, you know, being hurt or killed, how to get out of it. What forms of self-defense would be most beneficial for a given situation? And I think his channel's quite valuable. You really learn a lot. All right. Any other questions you guys have? Post them up. Whatever else you have for me. Beer or ale? Well, isn't ale a type of beer? I like them all, actually. Would you accept dashcam submissions from outside the U.S.? Absolutely. We have actually featured content from other parts of the world. We had a regular in Israel send us his stuff. He hasn't sent us anything in quite a while, but we have featured stuff from Israel, from Mexico, from China. Had somebody for a while, sending us stuff from China. Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely, and you can send them to baddrivers of Napa Valley at gmail.com. Email. So after we accept submissions, files larger, what you should probably do is upload to Google Drive or upload to Dropbox and then share the link with our email. That's usually the easiest way. Best or worst interactions while driving? Best. Oh. I've had a couple of people now, like 3 times, where our red car that you see right here, actually on screen, I've been stopped at a light and somebody rolled down the window. "Well, you have such a pretty car." That's one of the reasons why we bought it. So that's maybe the best. And the worst interaction was... I gotta think about that. Oh. I mean, aside from road rage crap, too many to count. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the guy chasing us on foot? I think I was driving at the time. I was driving on foot and he darted across the street illegally. I honked. And then he decided he was going to run after me. And that was, that's among the worst, I guess. If you were to ever visit Canada, where would you visit? Well, I've been to Vancouver and I love it there. Absolutely love Vancouver. And I would definitely go back for sure. That's not even a question. Uh, but where I haven't been in Canada yet is Banff. I think it's spelled Banff in the Canadian Rockies. That's pretty high on my list of places to visit in Canada. I love the mountains. I love the alpine forests. And I love the snow. Although traveling there in the winter could be impossible depending on the weather at the time. Yeah. Yep. I have some extended family that live in Calgary where, Snowcat lives. I haven't seen anything from Snowcat in a long time. Wonder what he's been up to. I'm assuming some of you guys listening know who he is. Looks like the last video he posted was... Oh, let me see. It was... Oh, February, so about a month ago. He got a new motorcycle, a motorcycle reveal. A restaurant? I haven't heard of that restaurant. Have you ever played pickleball? If not, would you like to try to play the game of pickleball? I kind of actually forgot what pickleball is, honestly. Let me see if I can pull up some pictures to remind myself what pickleball is. Oh. Isn't that kind of similar to tennis? Pickleball versus tennis. Court size rules of the game and equipment. Okay, so it's quite a bit different. I would like to play tennis. Okay, mixed, kind of a cross between ping pong and tennis. Aha. Yeah. I don't know, I usually fill my free time with hiking and photography. Usually what I'm doing in my free time. I'm either out on the hiking trails or doing photography. So yeah. Any other questions, you guys, before I wrap up? Any other topics you'd like me to explore? I've pretty much decimated my list of topics that I had written down. I'll see if you guys have anything more. Are you into urbanism? I don't know. What's urbanism? Well, let me Google it. Oops. Urbanism. Oh, I see. The way of life characteristic of cities and towns. Oh, it's a study. Yeah. The study of how population of urban areas interact with the built environment. Oh, not particularly. It sounds like an interesting topic, but I think I'm more into the rural kind of life. You know, my wife and I Would like to have more land someday, enough where we can do like a larger farm where we can have more in the way of animals. These would not be animals for slaughter. When I say farm, I just mean like a ranch, where you have, you know, animals just to have around, basically, not for any commercial purpose or for consumption, just animals to have around. Animals and certain crops is what we want to do. I mean, we do crops now, but on a smaller scale, because we don't have a huge amount of land right now. But that is the goal for the future. Um, yeah, Jay Worrell, thank you for coming in and joining us. Have a great dinner. So you're married? Yes, we are married. Been married since 2007. Yeah, I live in the most rural area in Germany. Would you set up trail cameras to see what comes? Yes, actually, I probably would. I probably would. Yeah. I'd also have to make sure I've got enough of a setup to irrigate my crops. Kind of depends on where we live, how much it rains, because some of the crops that I do require a lot of water. A lot of water. And I don't know how how much how much prone to drought it's going to be. Bird watching. I take note of birds. Uh, my grandparents, when I was growing up, were very much into bird watching, and they got me into it. And I have a book that I studied of North American birds, and I've learned pretty much what the different birds that there are in our area, and I do pay attention. I definitely pay attention to birds that I see when I'm out hiking. Oh, Dashcam Extraordinaire, if he's still active and uploading. Not that I know of. Nope. Let me type it in and see if he's posted anything. Dashcam. Nothing's come across my subscription feed. Oops, Extraordinaire. Would be nice to. Oh, shoot. Does he even have a channel anymore? Huh. Maybe I'm not typing in all the correct keywords. Oh, interesting. Oh, there it is. No, he still has a channel. Okay. Looks like the last video he posted was a red light runner collision, and that was back in July of 2021. So no, it doesn't look like he's posted a thing, and I have not heard from him either. I should send him a text and see how he's doing. Though then I kind of feel bad of that I haven't texted him in a long time. Yeah, so I don't know. It kind of goes along with what I was saying earlier. Is a lot of the old timer, dash cam uploaders, and I don't mean old timers and they're old. Their age is, they're up there in age. I just mean, they've been in the dash cam community a long time, and I'm just noticing this. A lot of dash cammers have dropped out because the views just aren't there. Everyone's going off to the big channels. The road rage, the instant karma, and the car crash compilation channels. It's sad. It's really sad actually to see a lot of the originals go, and a lot of startups lately that they start uploading and then they're like, oh, the views just aren't here, and then they give up right away. You know, it's hard to make it in the dash cam world now. Yeah. So, yep. Trying to think of other topics here. We've been going for an hour and a half. Yeah, probably the next time I do a live stream, I will have a guest or two. The purpose of this live stream was mainly just to let you guys know how it's going, just to show myself a little bit, say hi. Not visually, of course. I don't know if face reveal is ever on the table, but I thought I'd come in here and connect with you guys in some way. So here it is. All right. Well, Itch has to leave. He says, got to get some sleep since I'm going to do a short trip to the Netherlands with two friends of mine. Wish you all a good afternoon. Thank you for coming in. Very nice to have you. And I will be taking any last questions, topic ideas before I close this out. Okay. DCB area. Yeah, whenever you get your clips to me, no hurry. I still have a backlog of clips to go through from other submitters, so no hurry on that. Yes, definitely catch our video next Friday. So I guess this is a good time for me to wrap it up as well, since everyone else has to take off. So let's wrap this up. So thank you guys for coming here and tuning in and listening to me ramble about various things. Definitely make sure to catch next Friday's video. It's going to be a wild one. And then the one after that's going to have some wild stuff in it. And I hope by winter I can take a break from bad driving and, be a little more chill. But that's definitely not on the table for next time. It's just going to be a crazy one. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, don't worry, Dark Link. Our channel's not going anywhere. I think the worst that would happen is we just wouldn't post as often. We'd maybe just post the really juicy stuff, and some of the more mediocre stuff just wouldn't get posted, which would be fewer uploads, but we'd still upload. That's worst case scenario. That's a little further down the line. We haven't reached that point yet. We're just going to keep with this strategy of doing shorts to see if that boosts things enough to keep things going the way they're going. So that's the hope. That's what we're going to keep trying to do. So for now, nothing's going to change. Just going to keep doing what we're doing and doing the shorts. Alrighty. Well, thanks to all of you for joining, and I'll try to do live streams a little more often. All right. Well, you guys all have a great evening. You're listening to Bad Drivers Caught on Dashcam, your continuous source of epic driving fails paired with intriguing commentary. We also put out the occasional live stream talk show segment, like we are right now, where we talk about various driving-related topics and anything else related to the Dashcam community and the world of YouTube. I am your host, Napa, a nickname coined from back when our Dashcam channel was called Bad Drivers of Napa Valley. We put out 2 to 4 videos per month, not including the shorts we've been posting lately, and you don't want to miss them. You're listening to Bad Drivers Caught on Dashcam.